Hello humans, I'm Johannes from Hong Kong and our new EP just came out and one track on the EP is called Doppelganger. And today I want to show you how we made the bass sounds in Doppelganger. Let's go. So this is the main drop. This was actually a track that happened really fast, and I think it was already at 80% after just a few hours. And there's one reason for this, and the reason is that almost every bass sound in this track is like the same patch. It's just different playing style. So this sound here is the same sound as these long screechy sounds here. Sounds weird, but yeah, all of these sounds are like coming from the same patch. Also, the sound in our middle drop here, this sound is also kind of the same patch. It's all kind of the same patch. Kind of. But the patch I'm talking about is crazy complicated. So I hope you got some time, because this will take a while here. This is the sound. Funny thing is, if I play it longer, you will maybe hear why this sound is so flexible. If I play it high, like really annoying stuff. But if I play it really low, it's a really weird patch. And all started with me discovering the ring mod. And let me show you later what I did with the ring mod on this sound. But first off, I will just turn off all the processing that we have here. It's a lot of processing. Let's look at the Serum patch. What's going on here? I really can't tell you what happened here. I was just messing around. This is super detuned. The first oscillator is just 4 octaves down, 2 semitones down. Second one is 1 octave down, 1 semitone down. First one is also stereo with like 3 voices. Sync is used. And the core thing here is this LFO. Like you can see, it's on sync, it's on the level. And the second one is just FMing like crazy. It's like making the whole sound, almost. Also very important for the thing is the paperback noise. I think it's in general one of the coolest Foley-like noises in Serum. That's why I like to use it. And I'm always hoping that they will be adding more Foley noises, because I'm just too lazy to do it myself. This is really important here, because without it, especially this hit, which will be used for this wobble sound, sounds like nothing. Suddenly it sounds cool, huh? Weird. The other thing that is really important is the detuning. There's an LFO here on both oscillators doing lots of fine detuning. I mean, I think in the end this is just like a retro color effect, like a little tremolo wobble thingy. You can recreate that with any kind of plugin in the end, but I kind of like it when it's happening before the effect chain. So this is why I like to do this in Serum and not outside of Serum. And I think you can just do it so fast. The other problem is that sometimes your sound gets so detuned that you're not in key anymore. But hey, I don't care about stuff like that. I always fuck up the keys of my sounds, and then they're super off key and I'm really confused. But that's how I work. The filter is an all-pass filter, and I feel like the all-pass filter can mostly be used like a disperser plugin, if you know the disperser plugin, for like weird phasing effects. In this case, because I also used the damp here, I think I just cleaned up the sound a bit. Yeah. It's also doing something like a phasing thing with this resonance here. like to me, this almost sounds like a radio EQ. Yeah, like, or like one of these telephone EQ curves that you can draw in EQs to make a telephone sound. This is what this does actually. Like, this is what it feels like to me. Just like really narrowing down the sound, and by that creating some kind of character for this. So then we come to the effects section here, and we start with the hyper, which is not doing much. I feel like this is, I mean, there's a little bit of dimension. Nobody cares. The chorus. Subtle stuff. Then we got this boy here, and this is probably more important. Especially, let me turn on the OTT. Yeah, just a little bit of dirt. And one thing I really like to do anyway is to also modulate the frequency of the drive here. And it's tape saturation. You only have this mode when you updated your Serum. If you don't have it updated, this is missing. So then get a new version. So, and the mix is also modulated. Just modulating distortion. I love that. And last, also super important, modulated EQ. And there I really like to draw in these little peaks in the EQ and then move these peaks around like vowels of a vocal sometimes. And in this case, I also wanted just to emphasize the low mid region of the sound. So we're done in Serum. By the way, I hope you copied this super weird LFO curve. Yeah, just copy that stuff. Then we've got some basic EQing here. I think mainly, yeah, I pushed the mids, took out some of the harsh stuff. Then there comes something that's pretty important. This is Subvert. It's a distortion unit, like a multi-band distortion. What I did here is just super crazy wave shaping. So there's this shape mode, and yeah, and I think that's the most important thing. There's also a little bit of ring mod here, but and the metalizer, but I think that's really subtle. The most important part is the distortion here, and I can only recommend you Subvert. If you don't have it, get it. It's, to me, one of the most fun distortion units. It's super crazy, it's super aggressive. But recommendation is there for me. Next up, we have one more favorite of mine, and that's texture. And there are so many videos where I open up texture and it's just not doing anything. And once again, this is one of those videos where texture isn't doing anything. The gate is too high, so texture doesn't get triggered here. Okay, I don't need texture. OTT, pretty crazy, 39%. And then comes the ring mod. And this ring mod is pretty important for the whole sound, because at that point when I made the song, that's when I kind of discovered the ring mod as a creative tool. To me, ring mods mostly just sounded like shit when I tried to use them. And then I got that kilohertz ring mod, and this one is really, really fun. And what I kind of discovered are like the stereo imaging possibilities with this. So let me show you the automation here. So lots of automations. We can ignore some of them. The most important ones are the ring mod modulations here. Now let's listen what this ring mod is doing. This ring mod is kind of spreading the whole signal out, but at the same time ring modding it so it gets like super weird distorted. So if you listen to it like at this point here, it's just super stereo, super broken. And you get this effect by using a really low frequency, spreading it out, so you get that stereo effect, and like that you can do so much crazy stuff. Now it's even harder, the effect. And there it sounds shit, but yeah. And this kind of effect I used all over the song. Like almost every sound here in this track is heavily ring modded just with that technique. It's all the same technique. And yeah, in this case, I really automated that in, so the sound, when it drops, starts out really mono and simple, and then it just gets more stereo and weirder. Yeah, like you can hear, like it's just moving out, just to keep it interesting and to make it more sick. Huh? So, yeah, that's the ring mod. Then we've got some classic Saturn, which I'm always using. This is also just a preset, saturating color. I think I changed some stuff here, but I think you can just use a preset. The Pro Q, and once again, this Pro Q is doing crazy stuff. Then one more Saturn, just more saturation, crazy stuff. This is also a preset. I think I just fiddled with the different bands here just a bit with the loudness of the bands. I also use this sometimes to kind of balance sounds out. When I use Saturn, I just use like distortion or saturation presets. And when they have so many bands, I really like to use these bands to also kind of EQ the whole sound and create a good balance. Then we've got Blur, which is like a little dimension expander, just doing a little bit of room, a little bit of ambience. Time shift is just there to make it more laid back. So the whole region, the whole notes just get pushed to the right a bit in Bitwig, and that creates that nice laid back feeling. And I think this is also super important for the whole track because it has that kind of hip hop laid back feeling. And I think without the time shift, wait, you know what I mean? It's still laid back, but it's not with the whole time shift. It's so much laid back that it's like super. Kind of creates that super crazy headbang feeling. I don't know. It's just micro timing, and super interesting. Then yeah, I still wasn't happy with the sound and created these super nasty curves here that you can recreate. And then CQ, I really like the CQ to add some highs. That's what I did here, and I also added some mid frequencies here. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, right now the sound is pretty harsh, like you can hear, and I feel like there's not enough mid frequencies. Maybe that's also one of the reasons why I try to push them here. But I think there will be much more stuff going on here. Yeah, and I think the soothe in the end will fix this, the harshness. Then I added a gate. And this is what I do pretty often when I have signals that are like super crazy saturated and like distorted, and there's just so much noise flying around. I really like to use the Bitwig gate to clean them up and sometimes to create some funny effects when the gate cuts off your sound. In this case, I think it's just cleaning up the sound. Yeah, and without it, it's a bit more dirty. Yeah, it's a bit more more clean with it. Then Valhalla Room for some cheeky little reverb effects here. Wait, where is it? Here. Yeah, basic Donkey Kong reverb automations. And yeah, then I realized, oh my god, this is sounding like shit. And I took out the harshness with a little shelf here. And I think it still was sounding too harsh. It's a bit better now, but still too harsh. So I added some soothe. Yeah, just a little bit to smooth it out. And this is how you get that kind of sound here. Then afterwards, like I just showed you before, there are so many different ways to play this sound. So for this part, I only use the first, like the first one shot. But if you hold the sound, you get all of these weird different textures. And this long sound is this thing here, this. And like you can hear also in this sound, this is super stereo and super broken. This is also ring modded heavily. And yeah, this is how I basically made all of these sounds. And the sound here in the breakdown, this is kind of made of this patch played really low. Yeah, if I play this sound really low, it kind of oscillates really weird, and I really like that. And I kind of use that oscillation, which is also slightly off timing of the whole track. And yeah, this is what happened here. And then I just thought, okay, this would be a cool drop. This is also why the sound gets faster when played higher. I didn't automate this. This is like automatically because, yeah, it's like oscillating faster because it's played so low. Then in the last drop, that's more like a variation, but also the same patch. So if you rebuild that patch that I just showed you, you can actually make all of the sounds in this track. But I think the bottom line is, for me, when making this was all about trial and error. I tried around, I played around with the ring mod. I just put so much crazy effects on this patch until it sounded crazy and until it sounded fun. And then I just followed the accidents. I hope you learned something from this video, or maybe you even got inspired to play around with ring mods more in the future. That's what I hope. And yeah, keep on making crazy sounds, and see you next time.
Doppelganger.